Guys, how's it going? So it is finally time for us to take down our White Duck Outdoors Alpha wall tent. This thing has now been up for just over a year, I think about a week over a year, and I am nothing but pleased and impressed with how well this thing has held up over that period of time. Now, one thing that made a world of difference is I also went with the Rainfly that is, made for this 8x10 model, and I mean that's really protected the canvas. I mean, you can just see all of this dirt and debris and stuff that has settled on this thing over the course of a year. Some has kind of blown up in underneath where the chimney flap is, and over time I had this lined up perfectly. But just with the rope stretching and some really heavy wind, rain, thunderstorms, and everything that's come through, it has just caused the Rainfly to shift forward a bit. And I mean, if this was something that you was attending to all the time, then you wouldn't really have to worry about that happening, because you could just keep these adjustments, shored up all the time. But as far as leaving this thing in the mountains for that period of time, I'm really surprised at how little, almost no discoloration has happened to the sidewalls of the canvas, and it just really doesn't even show that much signs of wear, especially on this lower side, since this side is the one that doesn't really see a lot of the head-on winds and rain. Oh, there's a big old spider web. And then the mesh windows have done great. I left this lower one open just to let airflow come through, because I'd planned on taking this thing down a little bit soon. But just with the weather that we've been having, it's just constantly been raining. Like, we just hadn't been able to get a few days in a row without rain that I've been able to come to this location and take it down. So I wanted to make sure that the canvas just had plenty of time for any moisture to dry out, especially if anything happened to have got underneath that Rainfly, so that we don't have to worry about any mold or mildew when we pack this thing away. And then looking at the doors, the zippers have performed great. I kind of thought that dirt and stuff would kind of start to build up in them and become a little bit more difficult to use, but the teeth and all of that stuff has held up great. Not had any issues with anything damaging the mesh on this, even though coming in I've hung items, I've hung things on my waist and all that type of stuff on this heavy duty mesh, and it's been fine. Still got to take the wood stove down. For anybody that's curious, this is the Winterwell Nomad, the large, I believe, not the medium, but the large. I had that Tom shoe cot in here, took it down about a month ago because I needed to use it for some other stuff. Then was going with the Mission Mountain chair and table. Took the table down a second ago. And then that is a USMC cot bug net tent. You can use it on your own, all that good old stuff. And then I've had these lights zip tied up that I got to cut off, and those was connected to a 0.0 power station. And those lights, charging my phone whenever I bring a laptop down here to do some work, is pretty much all I'd run off of that. And I never really had to worry about even topping it off, even though I got some solar panels for it. That was a little IMI fan that I had in here that I would hang over by the window to draw air in or push air out. And yeah, then those Camping Moon racks over there is where I would lay gloves and gear and stuff that was a bit behind the wood stove if I need to dry out, because I tend to use these racks if my gloves are really wet, like my leather gloves. I'll lay them along the side, but that's where I set pots and stuff to cool after I've took them off of the stove. Yeah, I'm going to get to finish taking everything down, probably do some time-lapse shots, and we'll touch on a few things after I get everything taken down and packed up. I'm hoping that I have enough time to finish everything right now. If not, I might have to cut to a second day. So somewhere underneath that flap right there, there is a wasp nest. Surprised they wasn't really disturbed when I was taking that pipe down. But I don't have anything with me right now to where I can spray that, and I got to make sure that the spray ain't going to damage any of that material. So for right now, I think I'm going to take and just put the storage bags. I've already got the stove and most of the stuff out of there. I've had wasps down here before this year. 2 or 3 nests total that got underneath the edge, and yeah, I was able to pretty much pop them with, because of the way that they was hanging, I was able to take a stick, get a good old whack, run, and they didn't really come back for more. But that flap right there where it's up in there, I don't think there's a lot I can do. So cut back to whenever we're back down here. Okay, so I think it's fell off now, but right underneath here is where that bee's nest was, unless it was attached to the canvas. It was kind of hard to tell when the rainfly was still on there. I don't believe it's good to spray that stuff on canvas material, so I'm going to make sure I wipe that off really good, but that was really the only option I had to get to them. And yeah, so this is the color difference between this flap right here, the jack flap on the rainfly where it was rolled up versus what was exposed. So there's a bit of discoloration on it, but like as far as the durability of it, it hasn't really been affected at all. Okay, and I think I'm going to leave the rainfly set aside right now because I do not remember if it came with a storage bag or not. Because I know that right there is the bag for the large stakes and stuff to go in. But it seems like I remember the poles going in one bag and then the canvas in the other. So I'm going to see what the room looks like once I get everything tore down, and then we'll know if that bag right there is meant for the rainfly or not. I do wish that's one thing that was labeled on here, and that would just be really helpful if you was leaving this thing set up long term and you have different components and stuff that's a part of it, because the flooring also has to fit in the original bag, which is part of what's making me think this may not have a storage bag, or I've not kept them together. But yeah, right now it's shaded, but I really can't get over how well that rainfly has protected that, and how well these sides have held up and not faded. I mean, right there you can kind of see where the thing had shifted over time from where it was perfectly positioned over the storm flat to begin with. How there's a little bit of discoloration from leaf debris and stuff mixing with water and some limbs and stuff, where water is washed down, and you know, the tannins and stuff from tree bark and everything. But overall, this thing looks in immaculate condition for a full year in the mountains. Okay, so here is the instruction book that was in there, and it's showing that there is 2 bags, one for the tent and then one for the frame, which is what makes sense. I'm thinking that the rainfly didn't have a bag, which is fine. But I will have to find something separate to ultimately store it in. Look at all the different stakes can go in. There you go. That is everything packed up aside from the rainfly, because like I said, I might have misplaced the bag if it came with one, but I think it was just wrapped in a thick plastic packaging, just kind of like just other tarps are whenever you buy them new. It just had the cords and stuff already pre-tied on there, so not a huge deal. I'm sure I got a storage sack or a duffel or some kind that I can put it in for storage. But yeah, I don't know if I made putting that up look easy or hard, but it was more difficult than I thought it was going to be to get it back in this bag. But I didn't fold it in any special way. There would definitely could have been folded and rolled up better. This is a large wall tent. Typically you would have one or two other people with a tent this size, maybe even 4 people. But put it up solo, took it down solo, so very, very doable. But yeah, quick recap. I think this thing done very, very well. This is not like a paid promotion type of thing. So I mean, this is just honest, pure feedback. Just over a year in the woods through winter, fall, spring, and summer. Heavy, heavy thunderstorms. We got a lot of kickoff from some hurricanes that went up the coast. We had a lot of ice, hail. Not a lot of heavy snow loads. I think the largest snow we got was 4 or 5 inches this past winter, so nothing crazy, but it could easily handle it. The frame done great. The frame really hadn't shifted at all. Just the rain fly where wind had got under it and stretched the ropes out over time, and then that's what made it shift a bit, but I could have easily adjusted that back to its original position. Yeah, this gets 2 thumbs up for me. So far, all the White Duck outdoor stuff I've used has been 10 out of 10. Haven't had any issues with it, from the pants to the tent. We got that Scout tent. I've only got a chance to camp out in it one time with my dad, but we're going to be taking it out again once the weather cools off. And yeah, I might be considering doing a long-term test with one of White Duck Outdoors bell tents with a stove jack and stuff in it, so we'll see about that. But it's going to do it for this one, guys. As always, I will leave a link down in the video description. Always check, because any of the gear that I use in videos, from the clothes I wear to the main focus of whatever the video is, I always try to link to everything. And then if I can ever hook y'all up with a discount code, I will include the discount code underneath the item link. So make sure you check that part of it out. But that is going to do it for this one. I am dripping wet with sweat, so I've got to get these things out of here and loaded up and back to the gear shed. So all got sweat right in the eyes. Yeah, so as always, guys, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not already. Share the channel and the videos with your friends, family, anybody enjoys good old outdoor activities and gear. Hit me up in that comment section, thoughts, opinions, questions, whatever. Got to bring a sweat rag next time for sure. And till the next one, guys, adios.